That's a woman's job. You ever said that? Bless your heart. You're not going to get on Kiss later if you keep saying that. That's a woman's job. You know what I found out? When me and my wife got married, she worked, I worked. We was both working jobs, and as we both worked, I learned how to do some of the housework with her to help her out. And now even though she's a homemaker, I still try to help her out sometimes. I'll come home, sometimes I'll sweep the floor, I'll wash clothes, I'll try to help her out because I love her that much to give her my time and my talent. It's a talent washing clothes sometimes. Because my son can. Yeah, back on the back row. But notice in verse number 5, it says, does not behave itself unseemly. Love shouldn't be rude, should it? Love should be outgoing. It shouldn't be rude, but it always treats others with compassion. Treats others with consideration. Now, I'm not talking about just cutting up. Because me and my wife cut up a lot. Kids walk by the bedroom and go, what's going on in there? Because we're in there laughing. We just, you can laugh with one another. You ever laugh with your wife or your husband? You don't have to just laugh at church. Ain't it good to come to church and be able to smile and laugh?
Amen.
Try doing that at home. Try to laugh with one another. Don't laugh at each other, but laugh with one another. Learn how to laugh. Learn how to have a good time together. Don't behave itself unseemly, but in verse 5 it also says, seeketh not her own. True love should not be selfish. True love should not be self-centered. It ought to be actively interested in helping the other one, being a prophet to the other one. Now, I need to hurry now. Verse 5 is not easily provoked. True love keeps no record of evil that is done. What's done in the past, we need to realize, let it go. Let it go. Let it go. The code don't bother me. We need to let things go. We need to just need to lay it down and not worry about what's happening in the past. If there's been forgiveness, if there's been confession, and there's been forgiveness, don't bring that up. Let it go.
Right.
It shouldn't be easily provoked. Don't bring up the past. But notice something else. It thinketh no evil. In other words, it taketh no worthless inventory. Two thoughts are in mind. At first, genuine love does not attribute evil motives to people. Some people go, they said something ugly to me and they meant it. No, they may not even know what they said. Sometimes I say things wrongly. I know it's a shock to some of y'all. It's a shock that sometimes I'll mispronounce a word. Sometimes I say the wrong word. Or sometimes the sentence don't make any sense. I was up there sitting beside Brother Wendell. I was waiting for Brother Wendell to look over and say, that's not the right word. Because if I'm standing beside Gary or Daniel, they'll look at me and laugh, go, that's not it. I might be singing a whole separate song. But see, here it says, thinketh no evil, it takes no worthless inventory. Second, that genuine love does not keep a record of evils done to it. It doesn't hold a grudge. We need to confess it, forgive it, put it under the blood of Christ, and then bring it up again. Also, verse 6, rejoiceth not in iniquity. Love does not rejoice in sin. When there's sin involved, love doesn't rejoice in sin. Love is ongoing. Let me ask y'all this. I see a lot of divorces taking place nowadays. It's as bad in churches as it is out in the world. Do you really want to jeopardize your marriage by going outside your marriage? Do you really want to jeopardize something that you've spent all that time and investment in to really let it go? That's a serious question. Marriage ought to be based upon the Word of God, the love of Christ, and if it's based upon that, our love for Christ should be as an example to our spouse. But notice also, not only does it not rejoice in iniquity, verse 6, but it rejoices in the truth. When you've done something wrong, maybe you need to confess it. Hey, I messed up. Hey, you confess it to first is God.
That's right.
See, don't come and confess nothing to me, especially before church, because I will put it in the message. I've had people tell me, I got to eat wrong toenail.
No.
I don't mean to put it in the message, but I do. It just works its way right in there, wiggles right in there. Because it's already in the back of my mind and it comes right out in the front. And since I got such a short memory, it's going to come out because I ain't got much in there. But see, right here, rejoices in the truth. We need to make sure our spouse knows how much we love them.
Amen.
We need to let them know how much they mean to us. See, in Ephesians 5:31, it speaks of leaving and cleaving. Back in that verse, that's a loyalty words too. This is what God expected of the first marriage, to leave and to cleave. You know what that word cleave means? It means to be glued together. You know when it's glued together, it's hard to pull it apart. You ever glue two pieces of paper together? You glue those two pieces of paper together, you try to tear them apart, you know what's going to happen? It's going to rip. That's what cleaving is all about. When it's cleaved together, it means it's supposed to be bonded. It's supposed to not come apart again. You ever tried to pull something apart that's been bonded together? It's almost an impossibility. That's what our marriages ought to be. It ought to be cleaved together. They ought to be bonded to the point of where when the devil tries to slip in there, there's no way he can even get a wiggle room in there, because the love of Christ is so heavy in your heart that your love for one another is so heavy and so bonded together that he can't get in there. I believe that's why 1 Corinthians 13:7 tells us love ought to bear all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, and endureth all things. We ought to be able to come to the end of our lives, look at our homes, and say, boy, we had a great life together. Now, don't be scared of that word submit either. I know some people, well, that's a male chauvinist word. No, that word submit actually means to arrange under. That means in rank. That doesn't mean that men are to tell our wife, well, I'm the boss, you follow me. That's not what he's talking about. It means under rank. That means the submission is to her own husband only. You notice that in the text, it's to only a husband. Women are not subservients to men, they are equals. And what he's talking about there, even in the home, but God has invested leadership in the husband. Men, you are responsible for the atmosphere of your home. You walk in there and you're in a bad mood, guess what? The whole house is now in a bad mood. You're responsible for your home. Ladies, if you want your man happy and excited to get home, act like you're excited that he's home. Don't meet him at the door with curlers on. And for goodness sakes, be home when he's home, to love on him. Hug him, say, I'm glad you're home. Even if you have to fib about it. Men, we're not to be, husbands are not to demand submission from our wives either. We're not to be Tarzan, she Jane. I'm going to swing across that vine and catch you. No, that's not what he's talking about. He's talking about to love one another, to submit ourselves to one another. I'm to submit to my wife, and my wife is to submit to me, but in a godly way, in a godly love. Because as we submit to Christ, we're to submit to one another. We're to love one another. Husbands ought to be able to love their wives. And as we submit to Christ and our wives submit to us, I want to tell you, if you love your wives the way we ought to love her and love our God, then she's not going to have a problem following us. If we'll love them the way, when it's kind of like this, a man, there's a prince and his wife, another conqueror, another king come in and conquered their nation. And they brought this prince and his wife before the king. And the king looked at the prince and his wife and said, Prince, what can I do for you? And the prince looked at the king and he said, O king, if you would spare my wife and my kids, I'll be willing to give my life for them. If you're to spare my wife and my kids, please just let them go free. I'll be your servant, or I'll give you my life. And the king was touched and pardoned him. sent them away. And the prince looked over at his wife and said, wasn't that a great man? Wasn't he generous? And the wife looked at the prince and said, I couldn't look at him. I was too busy looking at the man willing to give his life for me. I was looking at the man who's willing to lay down his life or even become a servant in my place. That's what she was looking at. See, when our wives begin to realize how much we love them, and we're not holding back anything. You know, I've got 2 phones I carry around. My wife, I can hand her either phone and say, hey, look at these. Sometimes somebody will call me, I say, who is it? She'll answer the phone for me. It doesn't matter to me who answers the phone. I'll hand her my phone and say, here. My company phone, my personal phone, doesn't matter. I have no secrets from my wife. You know, one day we're going to get to the point where we're at the end. We're waiting for God to bring us home. You know, I was reading a story, and I probably told you about this one day. This gentleman, he was on his deathbed. He knew it wasn't much longer. And as he was on his deathbed, he smelt the aroma of his favorite cookies. His wife was down in the kitchen making chocolate chip cookies. And he thought, oh, she's making me some chocolate chip cookies. My favorite before I die. With all of his strength, he rolled out of bed. Fell on the floor. Crawled to the steps. Crawled down the steps. Got into the kitchen. His wife was over there still baking some cookies. With all of his strength, he reached up there to grab himself a cookie before he died. It smelled so good. Reached up there, grabbed a hold of a cookie, and about that time, just slapped his hand with a wooden stick. He said, quit that! That's for the funeral. Some of y'all catch that on the way home. We're to love one another all the way to the end. It's till death do us part. That's what God tells us. See, I want to be able to, when I'm old and I'm already turning gray and I'm in that rocking chair and can't get started anymore, my wife's sitting beside me, I want to be able to look back at my life and say, hey, it's been a great life. We stuck it out together. Through the good and the bad, through the poor and the poor, with much riches there. Through all the troubles, the trials, through all the happiness and the joys. We can look back and say, look what God did in our marriage. And prayerfully, our marriage can be an example to others coming behind us. To our family. So your marriage is an example to your kids. If your kids hear you screaming at each other, that's what they're going to expect in marriage too. Me and my wife purposed in our hearts when we got married that if we had a disagreement, we'd try not to do it in front of the kids. We didn't scream in front of the kids. We didn't yell in front. Matter of fact, one day one of them asked us, don't y'all ever get mad at each other? Yeah. We get upset with each other a time or two, but we don't have to do it in front of them. I want them to know Mom and Daddy loves each other. We would die for each other if we need to. See, we need a foundation of marriage that the world cannot comprehend today. That our movies are not exemplifying anymore. We need to have a good, strong marriage. Love your wives. Men, wives, love your husbands. If your husband and wife's not here today, go home and say, Pastor told me to come home and hug you and kiss you. Boy, won't you get a smile on their face. They'll wonder, what is that preacher preaching down there? See, you need to love on your husband. You need to love on your wife. Let them know how much you love them. Because if you don't tell them, how are they going to know? Let's stand today. Maybe you're here today and your wife and your spouse is standing beside you. Maybe you need to come to the altar and thank God for it. Thank God that you got a good, godly marriage. Thank God that you're married. Thank God. And maybe you're single today, and you may need to come to the altar and say, God, send somebody my way that God that you'd have you married. God, send somebody my way that would be pleasing to you. Don't just marry any bum or out there. Wait for God to bring you. But pray for your own marriage. Pray that God will make your marriage strong. Make your marriage something of beauty. It ain't always going to be perfect. It always ain't going to be happy. It ain't always going to be what you think paradise should be. If you got a marriage, God's blessed. You can thank God for that. As we bow our heads today, as they come get a verse of the song, we're going to sing in just a moment. But the altar is open. Maybe you just need to come and thank God for your marriage. Or maybe you need to come and thank God for what He's given you. Or maybe you just need to thank God. Maybe you need to ask God for help. Maybe you need to ask God for help in your marriage. You say, God, I need help in my marriage. God, I've messed up. Or God, I need you to intervene in this problem I've got. Or God, oh God, God knows what you have in your heart. See, there's already something come to the altar. Maybe you just need to grab your spouse by the hand and bring her to the altar, or bring him to the altar with you and say, would you pray with me? Maybe it'll be the first time. Or maybe you've prayed before together. Because marriage is so important. Heavenly Father, we come before you today. I pray for everyone that is here today that you'd help them to build upon the foundation, which is Christ. Help them, Lord, to grow in their faith. Lord, as their love for one another and for you grows. I know, Lord, it's not always going to be happy. It might not even be healthy. But God, we can fall in love with you every day, and we can fall in love with our spouse every day. It's a choice, God, we have to make every day. So God, help us. And Lord, if there's somebody here today, I haven't heard of anybody, but God, you know every heart. Maybe they're struggling, God. Maybe they're hurting. Maybe, God, there's a problem with their life. And God, they just need to bring to this altar. God, they just need to get it out in the open to you and confess it and forsake it. Thank you, Lord, for meeting with us today. Build these homes strong. Build this foundation firm. And God, help those who need your help. For God, we ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Hymn 385.
Everybody else does. He said, yeah, can I get baptized? So we're going to baptize him. Now his parents has already told me to hold him under 5 minutes. Pray for him that he can hold his breath. So church, we want to accept him by baptism because of his profession of faith. What's your pleasure, church?
Motion. Second.
Made it second. Well, somebody else made a motion second?
Yes.
All in favor say amen.
Amen.
You can get baptized. Boy, as a kid, you say baptized. You said, this is my Everybody knows my wife. Come on here. Did you hear me preach a while ago? I agreed!
Mama's here.
See, this is the love of my life. This is mine. I used to tell folks, yeah, that's what she always said. I introduced her the other day, and they said, who are you? I said, I'm my wife's first husband. We've been married going on 33 years. I'd rather be married than single any day. And I know y'all been praying for her because she can tolerate me. I tell you, this is the love of my life. She's my friend, my best friend. She's a blessing that God gave me. Okay, you go sit down. Y'all got a good pastor's wife, I can tell you that. But if she tolerates me, she tolerates y'all. And y'all pray for Luke. Why don't we come around and give him the right hand of church fellowship? Because when he's baptized, he's a member of this church too. So come around and give him the right hand of church fellowship. And you'll be dismissed with this. Make sure you let our guests know that we're glad you're here today. I think we've got 6 or 7 to baptize now, so baptism service is coming up soon.
Hey, look, Luke.
I didn't want to scare y'all people.
Well, they ran one. What are they playing on today? You got wafer, milk chocolate, caramel.
They're gonna wait for when they're married.
There you go, baby. Luke. He just ran outside. Hey, Shane. Run him back in here, please. Tell him to come see me. Really got it working. Keep going out. This is kind of. You want that? You want caramel?
You know, punch card?
Is it good? Well, you ain't gonna sell one unless you get out there and sell it. Stand it there and pour it. Guess I can cut this off now, can't I?